Hello there, lovely, darling baby dolls. I'm going to show you something today. We're going to speak a bit about the stock market very quickly, okay? The stock market, friends, in a nutshell, it is manipulated, but it still exhibits the same Wall Street cheat sheet emotions for the top half, okay? Why? Well, the government manipulates everything. So the government, when prices crash to the point on the Wall Street cheat sheet, okay, when we are exhibiting panic and capitulation, all right, the government never lets it get to anger. Why? It's because you will go riot. You remember in the GFC? You will literally go riot with a pitchfork. You will slaughter the politicians for stealing from the people, which is what they do. The US Fed or the bug eaters, you go literally just zap them. Zap, zap, zap. They know that. That's why they don't do it, okay? Instead, what they do is they print money here and the anger phase quickly. And they backstop everything so that we return back to the top of the cycle. That's why the stock market is very manipulated. But in the stock market, they don't manipulate this part as aggressively, okay? You have hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Now, they still do manipulate it because when we start to get to euphoria, they start hiking rates. You know, when the economy starts getting a bit too hot, like is what they've done, and they'll try to pop it. They'll try to pop it early. They try to smooth out the business cycle. So that's why in crypto, we can see these very exaggerated and real Wall Street cheat sheet replicas charts everywhere, but you don't see it in stocks. You don't see it in the stock market index. All right. Now, what's been happening now is forget this chart pattern, but I just want you to remember the emotions are real. So the Wall Street cheat sheet is happening in stocks right now. This part was the top of the bull market. This was December 2021. This was literally US Fed banned themselves from owning stocks at the top of euphoria. This was everything, the final pop, okay? And then we popped down. Euphoria, okay? And then we crash back down, and then we crash back down. Now, we are in complacency, okay? Now, newbies, God bless their hearts, newbies, soy boys, hunchback people who don't know what they're doing, but also people, I don't want to be too harsh, it's just people who don't know. You're looking at the emotions here. The chart pattern specifically is not important. So what people will say is they'll say, well, because the stock market is probably going to break the high here, that this chart doesn't make sense, okay? It's wrong. It does make sense. The emotions make sense. Stock market is in a complacency rally. It's very obvious. You've got record high rates, record high debt, credit card loans going through. Everybody knows that when the Fed has to cut rates, the average drawdown of the stock market is 27%. We know the cost of living went up too much. We know things are shonky in the background. We know the credit swap rate and all these, there's warning signs, something's about to blow. We know that. Yet we're still going up. This is the final exit rally for stock market boomers, okay? And they're not going to get out. They're going to believe Jim Cramer when he says that there's going to be no recession and, you know, there's a soft landing. They're going to believe these narratives. It's so easy for us to see it in crypto because we're not in it. But you got to remember the stock market is going up 90% of the time because it's manipulated and only goes down 10% of the time. So when that final 10% of the time has like 15 warning signs, they're like a deer in the headlights, which is what we're seeing right now. So effectively, what I believe is we are in a complacency rally. We've had a 13-year bull run, and we all know there has to be a correction. Okay, now, of course, it's going to be very tough. So what do you actually look at from here? Well, if we're in crypto, which is what we are, it's possible there's going to be a Fed rate cut somewhere. You know, maybe this goes up long enough. There's going to be a Fed rate cut. Something happens, okay? And now you're going to see this complacency really make sense, okay? Because now what's going to come after that? The Fed rate cut. What's going to happen is anxiety, denial, panic. So you never know, man. Stock market will just go do this, and then eventually the market will force them to print money again, okay? Now, tough part is crypto market participants will also be complacent. It's pretty obvious why. Because 4-year cycle plus Bitcoin ETF plus the entitlement feeling that Bitcoin must hit $100,000, you can see it set itself up for a big, big trap. None of this has to happen. And also, don't forget, friends, we are in the then they fight you phase with the US government and the world money supply, the world reserve currency, US dollar. So it's not an easy fight. So you already know these things are happening in the background. You already know Roca Negra was confirmed to be buying Bitcoin in 2022, precisely with the FUD, probably causing the FUD themselves, helping stir the FUD. And now they knew the ETF was coming. So there's a lot of shonky stuff going on here. Now, I don't know if this pattern is going to play out, okay, friends, because trying to short the stock market is always a widowmaker. But you know, these big cycle things, there's so much, the odds of this happening, they're very high. It's not 100%, but the odds of it happening is 8 divided by 9. You want to check that out? And what's the odds of that? Oh, there's an 88% chance. Not 100, but 88% chance. They've only had one soft landing, friends. It was in the early 90s. One soft landing, okay? Every other one was a hard landing. And hard landing, average drawdown is minus 27% of the stock market. So, you know, let's say stocks go up here. Let's say the S&P 500 actually touches 5,000. That'd be a nice round number, wouldn't it? The S&P 500 finally touches 5,000. Everyone thinks it's finally, you know, done the beautiful move. And then 27% down from there is bang. Now, this move, by the way, it doesn't seem like that much, 27%, you know. But look, the stock market as well, you never know, it might run up as well, recover 2025, and then it just comes for it. It forces the Fed to print, and then guess what? We usher in the next super bull market for Bitcoin. But do you see this pattern here that I've drawn here? I just want you to know, this part will be dangerous, but this part will be the finisher of our bull market, if it happens. If, I don't know. I'm just saying stock market's super high and extended. Unemployment rate has to spike up at some point. We know that everybody is complacent. The stock market's basically just a greater fool Ponzi running on fumes, no fundamentals, everything's overvalued. You know things are turning, you know everything's BS. Don't get complacent, friends. Now, the last thing I'll tell you as well, complacency, a lot of people get denial about it. But complacency, that's what I'm telling you, friends. This is the funny part, okay? Let's look at this chart, okay? Disbelief, you know disbelief, right? You can see disbelief. You see this disbelief? This is a sucker's rally. Well, disbelief up here is the upside of complacency, okay? So disbelief is, see how it says sucker's rally? Disbelief is, I don't believe we're going up because the economy is doing so bad. Happened in crypto, right? Bitcoin a year ago entered a disbelief rally. Why? People said, I don't believe Bitcoin's going to go up from here instead of hitting to 10K. They said because macro is still bad, the Fed is still hiking rates, and the crypto economy still looks trash. And then the market went up anyway. Why? Because it's forward pricing. I told you so many times, friend, been telling you for a freaking year, every day, you never play for today. A sucker plays for today. Okay, suckers play based off how they feel today. They are impulsive. They don't know what to do. Okay, they'll go get a face tattoo tomorrow. They have no idea. They're like, oh, I feel sad today. Let me sell. Oh, I feel bad. I feel happy tomorrow. Let me buy this meme coin. I feel happy in the moment. These people who live in the moment ain't no business being an investor. You're going to get wrecked, and you do get wrecked. They're not even around to survive all the time. Okay, so disbelief is like what you want to be as a bull. Complacency, though, for those smelly bears, friends, that's what they want to see, okay? But complacency, it can go on just enough to fool people at the very end. Because look what complacency, friends, it's made on this chart. It looks like a higher low, doesn't it? It's like, oh my God, like, you know. But you never give in. You never give in, okay? Because that would be fear of missing out. So, and people right now are complacent because the prices have moved up for stocks. But, you know, things are turning. The economy's turning. I mean, you know, it's funny, friends. You know, it's crazy. You know, in the US Fed minutes, you know what the first thing they said was? Growth is slowing. They literally said it. First sentence, growth is slowing. Stock market, didn't pay any attention to it. It wanted to focus on the rate cut part, right? Because there's more people who are, like I said, the word complacent again. Okay, it's people who it's the final gasp of euphoria. This is what happens before every big major crash, doom, recession. There's just always the last round of suckers. I don't know why, but now you get to see it. Okay, so if it does play out like this, and don't pay attention to these squiggly lines or any of these. Okay, it doesn't have to be these exact squiggly lines, but I'm just telling you, you can feel it. Okay, and of course, just to let you know, complacency can go on for quite a while. The stock market could be complacent for like 5 to 6 months. So trying to just put on some leverage short, you're not going to make it. But all this information is useful because we are using it to build up the case that it is possible Bitcoin stops under 100K. It is possible because think about it. Stock market people, friends, they're as weak. Crypto is really weak, but stock market people, they can't stomach minus 10%, minus 15%. They can't. They just can't. In crypto, we're like, yeah, minus 99%, whatever. So the complacency in the stock marketers would be, and I can already see it in my mind, people saying, if the economy slows, right, which is here, right, if the economy slows and we go down here, it's okay because the stock market will be recovered from the US Fed printing. The Fed's going to keep cutting rates and print money and everything is going to be fixed. That's what they're going to say, man. Sound familiar, friends? That is, I've got to say that word once again, complacency. They don't know how this game works. The rich, powerful bug eaters, they're playing a game, and the game is make themselves look good, destroy people, rescue them at the last second, and tell the people that they rescued them while diluting their purchasing power. So the weekends will be purged. And unfortunately, in this case, it's always the lower and middle class. They're the ones who get fired from their jobs. It's the over-leveraged cucks out there as well. They're going to get wrecked. This is just how the game works, all right? So it is a huge warning sign, all right? Now, if this plays out, you got to remember, in this zone, crypto is going to be very controversial because people are trained in this part of the cycle to believe that no matter what happens in the economy or stocks, there's always a bad result. The Fed must always print. We must always be long crypto. In theory, it sounds good. Unfortunately, look around you in crypto. You can't trust anybody to hold. For a fact, deep down, if they see the stock market come out, and by the way, friends, I'm going to tell you something right now. People are going to tell you that they're going to be strong. They won't be. You know why? Because there's going to be a super convincing narrative to get them out. Planned from the simulation writers themselves. I don't know what it is. When this happens, friends, these bars going down here, it could literally be Putin with a nuke. It could be China invades Taiwan. Something that's so compelling makes you go, oh my gosh, I didn't sign up for this. This wasn't part of my plan. Okay, I got to get out. That's what they do. Okay, nobody ever says, oh golly gee, I am shocked by this bad news event. Let me hold on. We hold on, friends. That's how we make it here. The weak-hand soy boy cucks, unfortunately, with their hunchbacks, they weren't in here to believe in crypto at all. They're here for the money. And so when the money goes minus 6% the other way, they're like, oh, I'm taking my loss. I'm getting out. Okay. This thing cascades. All right. So that's why you got to be careful. Yes, there will be bad things. Yes, the Fed will respond. Yes, they're going to print money. Yes, it's going to be exponential. But that doesn't mean it's up only. All right. When they print to close a gap. So on this chart, they print, you see the stock market, this Wall Street cheat sheet? When we go into panic, capitulation, and anger, you can imagine this, okay? I'm going to show this to you right now, friends. By the way, make sure you like, subscribe, belly button on, because I love, appreciate you. I'm just going to move it out here to make it nice and simple for you to see. This line I'm drawing is a long-term average, okay? When the stock market crashes here, okay, we're here, This is the stock market. Before we get to anger, the US Fed will print an enormous amount of money to close. You see this distance here to here? They want to close that gap. So what they'll do is they know, and like they literally have meetings with economists to do this. They have all the econometric models. I did this in university, friends. They literally know, okay, how much demand is missing last month? They go, all right, we're missing like $300 billion of demand normally from that month. They go, okay, so that means if you do it for the quarter, we're missing 900 billion. So then they tell the Fed, and the Fed, they have all these data, friends, and they go, okay, we have a demand gap of 900 billion. So let's add that to the list. That's how much they know have to print. And then they'll find other pockets. They go, okay, these guys, they're big, like, you know, institutional company. They expect like their spending for the next year is going to be minus 30%. And so they'll go back to their models and they go, okay, we estimate this effect adds another $100 billion of damage to the economy that they're not going to spend on. So they go, okay, you know, 900 billion, let's add 100 billion here. Okay, now there's 1 trillion. You see that? They keep stacking it up. That's the gap. All right, now in a free market, we're meant to let this clear out. And you're meant to, is in the free market, friends, that's why you have anger and depression and everything all this. That's our crypto market. But the US Fed will debase everybody. They'll say, all right, we're missing 1 trillion. From our experience, there's usually like 30% leeway. So let's just make it 1.3 trillion, okay, just in case. And anything else that comes up, we'll print the gap again. And then they come to the market and they say, we're going to backstop this. We're going to do this. We're going to cover this with these loans and whatever. And there you go. Okay. And that's how you have the stock market going, oh, okay, the US currency just got debased again. Let's reprice it. Okay. But it takes time. All right. The US Fed and these scum, the bug eaters, they do not let a tiny little gap happen and then go, let's print 10 trillion. They don't do that. All right. It's a scam. They let it get real bad first. So you beg them to act. Do you understand, friends? They're not in the business of stopping fires. All right. The US Fed, these bug eater scum, they're in the business of starting fires, right? Engulfing the fire, making it like fostering the fire, making it grow bigger and bigger, bigger, and then dumping helicopters of water, buckets, right, on the water. That's what they're in the business of. They're not in the business of you start a match, you blow it out. No, they don't do that, okay? This is history repeating over and over and over again. So in the midst of that mayhem, and there'll always be a planned news event, or the China, or the Russia, or North Korea, something's going to happen. It's just some weird things, aliens laying down. I don't know what it's going to be. Something that everyone goes, fuck, right? And all the stock market boomers click sell, and we're going to be looking at them like, bro, you're down 30%, Habib. We're down 90%. We didn't even blink. You know what I mean? We've been down 90% for 2.5 years. What the hell are you bitches complaining about? That's what we're going to be saying to them. And they're going to be, that's funny. They're going to come with their pitchforks to the government. But this is the thing. They're not going to come to tell them, you caused this. You are the problem. You're behind all of this. They spam the media waves with their analysts, right? The Keynesian proponents. And they say, hey, we have a solution. You know, we're missing $1 trillion of demand this quarter. If you roll that out for 4 quarters, that's 4 trillion. Add 30% because like there's like, you know, some leeway. Oh, we've got to print like, you know, 5.5 trillion and we're done. You see, friends, that's how the game works. That's how the game's always worked. But you got to, that's why, look, you're with weak hands now in the stock market. We can see it right now. See this when the stock market goes below trend, right? They want to bring the stock market back up. That's exactly what happens. So just think about this scenario, right? Think about the weak hands here, thinking it's a new bull market, a new super cycle, new everything. Okay, look, and at the end of the day, if you don't believe any of it, just, okay. The extension from top of the GFC to the bottom of the GFC, we are literally at an extreme point right now. The 4.236. These are always not like definite doom scenarios, but people are like, okay, I'm out. There's not enough buyers up here. We've run out. We've basically sucked everybody into this market, this asset, this crypto, this stock. we've sucked everybody in that we can. And in this case with the stock market, it's been 12.8 years. Okay, so now you know how the game works. Now you know why these things happen the way they do. It's been a blessing for me to share it with you. I hope it doesn't happen, but you're going to be ready. Okay, if we can see this, right, and crypto has like the final complacency euphoria run, we are going to know, oh my gosh, everything is running in fumes. I shouldn't be having extravagant targets running in a year from now. Okay, so, just as a wild guess, man, if this happens down here, this could be Bitcoin 50, 60K. And this move here, friends, right? This move right here on the right, this could be Bitcoin going to like 80K. And I can already see myself. I can say to everybody, go, hey, friends, okay, what if 2025 ends with the stocks going down? Because everybody's going to believe that stocks go up, all right, from that point. I say, what if it goes down? And everybody's going to be saying, oh, it doesn't matter because we're not correlated to the stock market and they're going to print money anyway. Remember, that's complacency talk. But we know from 3 out of 3 cycles, one of the conditions you need for Bitcoin to be in the raging euphoria, degenerate bull market, market-wide, we need the stock market in a raging bull market new high. And in that scenario I've listed you here, there is not a raging bull market high. That's why it's going to be very controversial, okay? Because most people are going to be saying 4-year cycle rules. It's the only thing that rules. Screw your stock market. That's what 90% of people are even saying today. And it's only going to be 10% of the other people saying, I think you're all full of it. I think if the stock market cracks, there will be a narrative that takes everything down, right? And it's going to make everybody weep, So we're not scared of this, but we're prepared. And that's all you want to be. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, all. Don't forget he loves you.